Hey gang, welcome to another episode of Flea Market Finds right here on ToyWorldOrder.com, the show where I, Devall, show you all the things that I happen to find at rummage sales, flea markets, garage sales, antique malls, auctions, and so much more. Now, last episode was a little bit of a doozy, and I've been told that I may not be able to top that. And while that's true, I still have quite a few cool things to show you, so let's get started. Now, the last couple of shows I found some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle items that normally, again, not a big fan. I mean, I'm a big fan, but I'm not a big collector of the line. But when I find certain pieces for really good amounts of money and that are either really complete or partially complete and in good shape, I pick them up because, let's face it, who wouldn't pass those up? Now, one of the items I found was the awesome Road Ready mutating Splinter, which he had both his weapons and his mutation canister. And what's really cool about the Road Ready ones is that they transformed into vehicles, and while the two turtle vehicles weren't that great, the Splinter vehicle actually turns into the turtle van, which is really, really cool. And after digging and finding both his weapons and his ooze canister, I figured I can't pass this up. I've got to have this in my collection. So I picked him up, and there you go. Now, I did find another Road Ready mutation figure from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line, and while I did happen to see the Leonardo and the Donatello from this line, which Donatello was a race car, Leonardo was a fire truck, I passed on those because I'm not a big fan of how those look. They are kind of silly to me. I did happen to find, along with Splinter, none other than Shredder. And Shredder is really cool because it's a nice representation of the villain with his cape. While the cape looks a bit chunky, it's really cool. And the fact that he turns into one of the driller machines from the cartoon is even better. He had both his weapons, both his drill head and his jack gun, the gun that turns into a little power jack, as well as his mutation canister, which all the mutation figures came with one. The only thing he didn't have was the guns that go on the drilling machine when he's in vehicle mode. So, small price to pay for a really cool figure, but I looked for those guns, could never find them. So another addition to my growing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection. Moving right along into the classic action figures realm of the very early 80s, Revell's Power Lords line was a really, really cool short-lived line that really lasted 2 series. I found a Atom Power, which is the power of Power Lords, and he's very cool, and I've been looking for more and more figures. The problem is a lot of these figures incomplete, you know, that are complete, that have their weapons, that aren't broken, go for a lot more money than I'm really willing to spend on some of the stuff right now. Just because I have so many different interests, it's hard to, you know, spread the wealth at times. But I happened to find an antique store that my good buddy Dave Draper and I stopped in. None other than the villain Drench from the 2nd series of Power Lords. Drench is kind of cool. He didn't have his weapon, but he is all there. He's all complete, and his joints and everything are really tight. And he's a really cool, really neat figure. So I decided, well, why not? I paid $1 for him. So I've seen this guy go on eBay for like $12, $15 in this, just in this condition without his weapon. So for $1, why not? Plus, he's a villain for my Atom Power to fight, which is awesome. Now, from time to time, I bought some Cops figures, the classic Cops and Crooks line from Hasbro, and I found a few on card, and I've got a few loose. I happened to find, while rummaging through some places at an antique mall, good old Sgt Mace. Now, Sgt Mace doesn't have any of his accessories or weapons, but the figure was in really, really good condition, and I really couldn't pass it up. I love Cops and Crooks figures. I think this is one of the best and most underrated lines of toys in the 80s. While it has its fans, it doesn't quite receive the same kind of respect as some of the more classic lines such as Masters of the Universe Transformers, the ones that have stuck around for a long time. But Cops and Crooks is an amazing, amazing line with amazing figures. So Sgt Mace is a nice addition to the collection. Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future was probably one of the coolest television series on air in the 80s for the fact that all of the large vehicles and playsets for the toys actually could interact with one another and the television series itself. It was revolutionary and very expensive. So the series only lasted one season, as did pretty much the toys really only lasted one series. But there are some very cool characters, and some of the ones I found was I happened upon a Lieutenant Tank Ellis who, with his gun, unfortunately his visor was missing, but you know, he's got his gun, and that's usually the hard piece to find. Surprisingly, not his visor, but his gun. Moving right along with the Captain Power figures, I happened upon none other than Major Hawk Masterson with his wing and his gun. A nice little figure to add to my growing Captain Power collection. Keeping up with the trend of Captain Power figures, I happened upon the Blastar Ground Guardian figure from the villainous, from the evil side of the figures, complete with his gun, and his hose is in really good condition. Very, very cool, and another nice addition to the growing Captain Power line. And last but not least in Captain Power, at least for the figures, is none other than the Sauron Sky Sentry. Another very cool figure and a very, very prominent character in the show, and a very, very cool figure. He's got moving wings. He's got, of course, all the great articulation of the Captain Power lines, and his weapon, which, again, the weapons for these guys are always really difficult to come by because they were really small and they got lost. Another nice complete figure to add to my collection. Now, keeping with the Captain Power theme right now, I found the Captain Power Power-On Energizer with the figure. The only thing missing here was Captain Power's gun. But I did put batteries in the sky, and he does work. The light bulb seems to be going out, though. It's not, it flashes, but it doesn't do what it's supposed to, which is just flash constantly. So I'm pretty much sure that the flash bulb, the little bulb's going out, but these bulbs actually are replaceable, so not a big deal. And it's in really good condition. All the stickers are in good condition. The battery compartment was really nice. Everything was there. The only problem is when I got it, whoever had put it together put the platform on backwards, so I had to unfortunately snap a small piece off in order to get this back off in order to put the platform on. But the platform is pretty secure. It slides out, but it's not a big deal, as once it's in, it stays in really well. So another addition to the Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future line, and something else I had as a kid that unfortunately got ruined. If you listen to Dave and Devall's Toys and Collectibles, you know that most of my toy collection as a child actually got lost and ruined in a flood in our basement, which is where my toy room was. So all of my toys got covered in poo and pee because the sewer backed up, and it was pretty disgusting. So of course they all had to be thrown away, which really sucks. But that's part of the reason why I continue to collect today and do this show, because it's a great way for me to relive my childhood. Now, another vehicle I found complete and in working order is the Villainous Interlocker vehicle, which was kind of cool because you could look through this little eye sights here, and you could line up the shots, and you could fire away, which was really cool. It would take hits, and then it would launch the actual chair in the air with the figure. Very, very cool vehicle. Again, another one I had when I was a kid that got ruined, unfortunately. But this is a great way for me to continue adding to my collection and to continue to repiece what I had as a child. So pretty cool, nice little addition, and I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet because I got to rework some stuff. Things are getting full down here, peeps, very full. Now, I've made no secret about this, and the shirt itself should tell you that I'm a brony, and I've been a brony since before being a brony was even considered remotely cool. We're talking circa 1993 is when I got into these toys and this show and this line, and have been a fan ever since. And I took a lot of crap for it for a lot of years, and now it's cool to be a brony, which really irritates me because I was a brony before being a brony was really cool. Go figure, right? I was ahead of my time, people, ahead of my time. Some of the things I found was I happened to dig through a tub and found a whole bunch of amazing vintage classic My Little Pony figures, but very, very cool figures, all in pretty much really good, relatively good shape. They look really good, and I couldn't pass them up. They were $1 a piece. So after digging through this bin and finding them, I was like, I'll take them all. So, you know, I paid $5 for these ponies, $1 a piece, not a bad deal, and something to add to my growing collection of vintage My Little Pony figures. Something I don't show on this show a lot, while I tend to stick to action figures and board games, I do buy a lot of books, and it surprises people to know, well, I don't know if it surprises you that I read, but it surprises people to know some of the things that I do collect are books, and I collect Disney books, I collect kids books, I collect classic books of the 70s and 80s, like kids-centric books. And one of the things I found was a 448-page superheroes big book from the 1980s. And it's very cool. It's basically just a giant coloring book that actually is a large comic book as well. Lots of comic stories involving Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman and Robin, and then a bunch of activities as well. A very, very cool book in really, really good shape. There was some writing on the back. I think there's a page that's been colored, and unfortunately it looks like most of the activities have been drawn in with pencil, but that's not really why I wanted it, because it's just an amazing piece of something they don't do anymore. They don't make books for kids, coloring books like this anymore. Usually they're very small, very thin. These are they're a dead breed, and they're such a cool look into the past and just how this stuff was marketed towards kids. So very cool thing to add to my collection, and something I've looked at numerous times because the artwork in here is spectacular. Like I said, going on with the books, one of the things I buy is Walt Disney and Disney books. And one of the things I found was this amazing park guide from, I believe it's 1986. And it's just an amazing look at what the park looked like in the 80s, as well as the costume characters that roamed around the park. And the artwork in here is beautiful and vivid. And they still make these and sell these. They went away from hardbacks for a while and went to paperbacks, and now I believe they're back to hardbacks. But this book is in just gorgeous condition, and a very cool addition to my growing Walt Disney and Walt Disney World book collection. So there you go, gang. There's a look at some of the stuff for this episode of Flea Market Finds. Now, I've got quite a bit more to show you, and there are more episodes coming, so be on the lookout. Check out toyworldorder.com for all the information for upcoming episodes, as well as be sure to check out the amazing podcast Married to the Collection, which I host with my lovely wife, Carrie Devall, and David Devall's Toys and Collectibles, co-hosted by my good buddy, Dave Draper. And also check out all the great reviews and great original programming that appear on toyworldorder.com, including some upcoming new shows that we're working on. Check out the forums, www.toyworldorder.com/forums, for all the great toy talk from all the great toy fans. There's lots of stuff there to talk about, lots of stuff to do, so make sure you stop by and hang out for a while. Subscribe to us on YouTube, as well as check us out on Facebook. You never know, good old Devall may reply to you. Ha ha ha. No, it's not that big of a deal, really. I might say hi. But there you go, gang. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Flea Market Finds. And until next time, this is Devall telling you, keep playing with your toys.